Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. We're going to do our very first showcase of Adopt a Hunter here. A few disclaimers before we begin. I have a guest with me. His name is Aaron. He is a writer for Games Radar. He will be joining us today for a few hunts as I try to introduce him to the ins and outs of Monster Hunter and just kind of give him a crash course. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask in the chat. If you have any feedback or anything along those lines, let us know in the Discord. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him in, and we will get started. All right. You with me?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, so don't jump into anything yet. I'm going to go ahead and get a lobby set up. And then I will give you that code, and you can join in on me.
Right on, yeah. I'm just confused where to. I don't see anywhere to enter a lobby code.
If you, okay. So go into multiplayer, and then yes, select Great Devourer or Great Jagras.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Let's do it.
We're all getting used to the nuances of the beta here.
I see it. Yeah, create your own quest.
Yep.
Search by quest ID. There it is.
I'm going to put it on 2 players for now. If we need to switch later and bring in our admin, we'll go ahead and do that.
Sounds good.
Okay, I am going to send you that code on Discord now. There you go.
Sweet, sweet.
So typically, or in an ideal world, I could join a training room with you, but I don't think that is a functionality of the beta, so we're going to just crash course it through the first hunt. We will have 20 minutes. I expect us to fail as I just kind of go through teaching you a few things, so don't worry too much.
Okay.
No, the video isn't showing because I'm protecting the quest ID. Also, it looks like my game capture is stuttering, so I'm going to restart that. I saw that you had joined just before I restarted the capture.
Yeah, I'm in here right now.
Okay. So realistically, a crash course here. The first thing that we're going to worry about, like, we're not going to worry about your armor. We're not going to worry about your armor skills. We're not going to worry about your palico or any of that. the first thing you need to know is how to use your weapon. Like, we'll worry about items, we'll worry about damage types, we'll worry about the monsters and all that stuff later. If you don't know what you're doing with your weapon, the game's just going to feel alien and uncomfortable. So, I think you had mentioned wanting to use the insect glaive. So if you would be so kind as to select that.
Yep, I have it on right now.
Excellent. All right. You are in the lobby, so I'm going to go and switch us back. So yeah, feathered blade, and then everything else is up to you.
I just kept it as what was preset, but I'll take a look for.
Sure. So for the most part, for the beta, skills are a little bit dumbed down, but they should be fairly self-explanatory. Attack boost is going to make you hit harder. Defense boost will, make it so you take less damage. Oh my god, somebody just hosted me. Thank you very much. That's very loud. Speed eating will make it so that you consume items faster, like potions. Oh, he's quieter than... Alright, let me turn him up. It should be a fair bit better. And then you've got a few other skills, like critical eye will make it so that you can deal bonus damage, basically critting. But if you've got a good handle on what you want to bring, it shouldn't matter this first couple of hunts. But just stand by for departure when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright. So the Great Jagras is a pretty straightforward beginner monster. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage. He's low to the ground and fairly easy to hit. Jesus Christ, guys. So many hosts.
They're playing music or something?
It starts Darude Sandstorm. I had to turn it down a little bit. Unfortunately, the Twitch alerts and Streamlabs volume is not consistent.
Okay, ready to get cracking on that quest? The one called
Okay, so right here we're in base camp. It's pretty straightforward.
Great Jagras has yellow and
I'll wait for her to
green
stop
stripes
talking.
And the gluttonous habit of swallowing prey whole. You know the drill. We've got to find it and hunt it.
I am getting a little bit of an echo from you.
Yeah, I'll turn myself down a bit.
Sure. Or alternatively, you can turn your noise gate up in Discord.
That should be better.
Okay. All right, so in your item box, at the very beginning, they give you some extra stuff. Don't worry about it for now. Like I said, for this very first hunt, what I want to focus on is what your weapon is and how to use it. So if you'll go ahead and draw it by pushing triangle. The insect glaive is a pretty mobile weapon that allows you to fly through the air, do aerial attacks, and just kind of a little bit of zany shenanigans. If you hold R, well, actually, you know what? You probably have different controls from me. R2 and push X, you should jump into the air. There you go. And then you can push circle while you're in the air to do a secondary attack. And or you can push triangle while in the air.
Okay, there he is.
So the core of this weapon, or what makes it really uniquely special, is that little green bug on your arm. If you hold L2 and then push triangle, you'll launch him out at whatever you're aiming at. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, there it is.
And then circle will pull him back. So what happens when you do that is your insect will go out, your kinsect will go out, and if it hits a monster, it'll collect a type of essence. There are a few different colors, but each one of them gives you a unique buff. Red will make your attacks better, white will increase your mobility, and orange will increase your defense. The fourth color, green, will heal you. But
okay.
As far as weapons go, this one is actually up there on the complex side. But it's really fun, so I can see why it appeals to a lot of new players. After we do this hunt, I'll send you into the training room and kind of coach you through the basics of it. But if you'll follow me, we'll head out and learn what it's like when you collect essence. I gotta be careful with turning the game audio up, guys, because if I turn that up, it turns him up. But I may be able to do something here. Everything's already at 100. So what I can do is I can turn it up here and then turn him down at Discord.
Is it kind of a quiet stream because of that?
Most likely. Just OBS allowing you to fiddle with volumes doesn't usually let you select a specific source. Actually, we went the wrong way. That's what I get for looking at stream. So you'll come back this way. I'm sure you noticed the little green flies that are traveling around and like highlighting certain items here and there. Those are the scout flies. They serve a function of assisting you in finding other players, finding specific items, or tracking monsters. We'll go ahead and get started with these monsters here. So go ahead and draw your weapon. And then if you will aim your kinsect and shoot it at any part of this monster. Should have gotten green essence if you hit it. The bug in the top left will be glowing green. Is that correct? And then you pull it.
Yeah.
And then when you call it back, it heals you.
Okay.
Now these are passive little herbivore monsters, so they don't really want to fight us. So they're gonna run off and flee in terror, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
These are pretty much never your quest target, but they're a really good practice dummy or area to start and just kind of get your attacks and get a feel for things. Triangle and circle are the core of all of your attacks, and then with the insect glaive specifically, you've got that aerial stuff where you can fly through the air and kind of do some attack on Titan stuff. As we're running out here, is there anything that's like a burning question on your mind or something that you just absolutely need to know?
Well, there's one thing about the program in general, but like I said, I
Sure.
can wait.
Oh.
Nothing's burning right now.
Okay, so
Really interested in what's happening.
So right up here, we've got our Great Jagras. This is our target monster. You should be able to lock on to him lower left corner by your mini-map. It'll give you a prompt. I have custom controls, so I'm not sure what the default is.
It says it's R3.
There you go.
I see it.
So he doesn't really care that we're here right now. We haven't done anything to him. We haven't really gotten in his way. For the most part, he's fine with us just being around. And a lot of monsters are like this. Until you go over there and wake them up and make them mad. Like that. So if you want, send your kinsect out at him. And tell me what kind of essence you get. And then pull it back.
It looks like it was red.
Did you get red? Okay, so red is the essence that you typically get from hitting a monster's like aggressive areas, like their claws or their mouth. You'll get white from their mobility parts, and you'll get orange from like their soft or defensive extra bits.
Okay. Is there any limit on what I can? I keep sending that. Yeah, I just got white right now.
And once you have all three, you'll kind of you go into basically a super mode, which increases your defense, attack, and mobility, as well as a few other bonuses, if I remember correctly. That's the mini game of Insect Glaive.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's got its own little built-in like extra stuff that you'll be doing a lot of the time. But once you have all three essence types, it actually changes, or specifically once you have red, it changes your attacks. And we'll go over that once we go into the training room on your next hunt. But for now, I just want you to go ahead and like try hitting the monster, get a feel for sending out your kinsect and calling it back. And something that you can do that's really neat is when you send the kinsect out, if it misses, you can activate it a second time, and it will go ahead and interrupt its course from where it is to go where you're aiming.
I did get all three of the. We got green, white, and red.
Nice.
So
if you sprint while you're running down this hill, which I think is R1 for you, or the right bumper, and then attack while you're sliding, you'll do an aerial attack.
Okay.
For whatever reason, he is not interested in us and is just running away. But once we get up here, I want you to go ahead and try doing that springboard attack that we had tested earlier. And see how it's different now that you have all three essence types. So that would be R2 and X, and then either circle or triangle while you're in the air.
Yeah, kind of like Gives me a boost to the side.
Do you still have your red essence?
No, that's what I lost.
Okay, yeah, try and pick up your red essence again, because that's what really changes your aerial attacks. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% familiar with where it comes from on Jagras. I would think it would be his mouth. Yeah, it is his head.
I think I got it.
Okay, so you've got the red in your bar in the top left?
Yes.
Okay, so now go ahead and do that aerial attack again. The pogo. And then you should be doing a little bit extra stuff once you're attacking now.
Yeah, looks like he did better. I did 2 hits instead of 1.
Yeah,
he's running away, but
yeah, he's gonna do that. For the most part, this is what you can expect. Once you get a little bit more of a handle on it, you'll deal consistent damage, and they'll be less. They'll typically only run away if they're tired or hungry or hurt.
okay. So I did from my limited amount of playing in the past. There has been a lot of you know, did a bunch of hits on them, and they ran away down.
Yeah, it's a pretty good starting point.
This is a nice visual update from playing on the 3DS.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just looking at the game is tons better. There you go. That looked great.
Oh, that was good.
And then, as I understand it, the finishing attack, instead of pushing circle, you push triangle. So, like, circle is a repositioning attack, and then triangle is more of the finisher. But for Insect Glaive specifically... Oh, I guess he got trapped. For Insect Glaive specifically, you really want to focus on getting all 3 of those buffs, or at least red and white, as often as possible. If you don't have red or white, your immediate objective is typically to get red and white.
Okay. So I have red and white right now.
Yeah, so then...
Try to get green?
Well, orange is the other one. Green is just for healing.
You don't have familiarity of where orange might come from?
I think... Oh, you just got orange. It looks like it comes off of his back.
Okay, I lost the white and red, but...
Yeah. And then call your bug back with circle. There you go. Yeah, once the bug gets the color, you've got to call it back to collect it. To answer a question in chat, how useful it is to stay in the air, technically it is better to attack from the ground, just you deal more damage most of the time. But the aerial attacks will let you avoid certain things, they'll let you get mounting damage and things of that nature. So it looks like you've got red now. There you go. Yeah, that's basically what you want to be doing most of the time. Once this hunt ends, I'll walk you through kind of like what your bread and butter combos are and what you typically want to be doing. So you've mounted the monster now. You can effectively just follow the prompts on screen. If you finish that, then it will knock the monster down and we'll have the opportunity to get some free hits in. There you go.
Slash Fury. Oh, no, okay.
I'm gonna help you out here a little bit. Your standard combo with red essence is going to be triangle, triangle, circle, and then just rinse and repeat that forever. Or is it circle, circle? Yeah. Triangle, triangle, circle. That's the one. But again, we'll go over that in the training room. The biggest detractor to Insect Glaive, in my opinion, is the minigame of constantly collecting essence. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you really just want to hit the monster, but if you don't have red, then your attacks are so much weaker. If you don't have white, then you don't jump as high. If you don't have orange, then you're missing super armor, and your allies' attacks can trip you, and that kind of thing.
So do the other weapons have just better base stats than Insect Glaive without this? you know, the mini games that you mentioned?
They have their own unique. I would say not all of them have mini games, but they all have their own unique features and appealing things like the hammer. You're doing a lot of time charging. The sword and shield allows you to use items even when the weapon is out. That kind of thing. So each weapon has its own unique appeal. The insect glaive minigame as a novice hunter is something that can take some time to master. Like I'm still pretty bad at it, to tell you the truth. Like aiming the bug and getting exactly what I want off of the monster is pretty tough even for me. And it's harder on smaller, more mobile monsters. But where this weapon really excels is in its ability to reposition and kind of almost infinitely stay in the air like I did there. Hey Kate, how are you doing? I still feel like crap, honestly, but getting better, slowly. And just as a reminder, since I can't possibly be a mind reader. Oh, there you mounted it again. If you run into a question or something that you need an answer to while we're hunting, just ask.
Okay, brilliant.
For the most part, I'm just observing you here, and if I see you doing anything that's like, hey, you should try this instead, I'll let you know.
Is there a mixture of ranged, a weapon combo of ranged and like close combat, or is it mostly just one or the other?
It's going to be one or the other, unless you pick up something like the gun lance, but even that really is not quite what you're looking for in terms of range and melee. As I understand it, the bow has some pretty neat Legolas stuff that allows you to do things close range, but again, that's not my forte.
There's no way of telling this Jagras is, you know, I don't know how much health he has left. Just attack until he shows signs of...
Yes, they will start to limp when they're weak, and that's your best indicator of, hey, this monster has low health. The neat thing, though, about the Kinsect is that it does do damage when it hits. So even playing the minigame isn't completely and utterly pointless. If you'll come over here, there's some red stuff on the ground. You can sheathe your weapon by pushing square. Don't worry if he hits you. It's a piercing pod. If you'll pick that up, it'll load it into your slinger. And then you activate your slinger by holding L2 with your weapon sheathed, and then fire with, I believe, R2. And that does, that's special ammo that monsters drop when you deal enough damage to certain areas that does bonus damage.
And there's no, you know, button press to jump and be able to navigate like that. It's kind of all automatic.
Yes, with the exception of the Insect Glaive's pole vault, which when I send you back into the training room, you'll get to see some cool stuff you can do with that to circumvent the normal climbing.
Okay.
I didn't see he turned around. Oh no, he went below. Where am I going?
Yeah, I'm right behind him.
I'll be there in just a sec. Again, the curse of looking away and trying to read chat. And the monsters are food friendly. They'll usually eat what you put down. It looks like your weapon has lost its sharpness. So there's a little bar. It should be the third thing in the top left, under the green health and the yellow stamina. Can you tell me what color that is?
Is it the bar that's shaped like a weapon?
Yes.
It looks gray.
Okay, so if you'll head back over here to me, I'm gonna have you sharpen your weapon, which is something you had to do in the field. So if you'll hold L1 and then push up on the right stick, it should have a whetstone there.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, obviously, you want to... Oh, well, he died. He was literally one hit away. Your weapon sharpness will degrade throughout the hunt, and we'll go over that in just a second as I do a little bit more of a mechanical breakdown for you. But first and foremost, I just wanted you to have a little bit more of an experience with, hey, this is a hunt. But you would just you would activate that, and then you crouch down, you'll sharpen your weapon, and that'll bring it back up.
Was it a cutscene or a little quest complete?
So this is just little feel-good cards at the end to show you what you did specifically to contribute. So you sniped the monster with a slinger 10 times, you mounted it twice, and you broke 3 parts on it. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do here is leave the lobby and go into the training room, and then I'm just going to kind of remotely walk you through some things. Is that all right with you?
Sure, yeah. On sale Friday, it tells me the... no.
Honestly, great job killing your very first monster without dying once, without really running into any major health issues. And yes, granted, it is a starting monster, but you did very well.
It seems, pretty fun. So I'm in the training area now.
Okay, excellent. So you've got your insect glaive equipped, right?
Yeah.
So
it's low.
So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and draw the insect glaive, and then...
Sorry, it's loading for a second.
Oh, sure.
All right, so I have it drawn.
And then I want you to do the triangle, triangle, circle combo. It's going to say rising slash, reaping slash, wide sweep.
So is it triangle, circle, circle?
No,
or triangle?
Triangle, triangle, circle.
Triangle, triangle, circle. Between the rising slash combo and overhead.
It should be rising slash combo, reaping slash, wide sweep. If you're getting something else, you may be pushing a direction.
Yep, I just got it.
There you go. So that's your...
I was just doing it too fast.
Okay. That is your bread and butter combo. So now that you kind of have a feel for what that looks like, I'd like you to shoot your insect glaive at the big totem pole, the broken wooden pole in the middle, which should give you red essence, and then call him back.
Yeah.
Okay, now do that same combo.
Yep, strong. It gives me this,
Yes.
strong wide sweep, strong, etc.
Yeah, and if you're actually hitting the target, you'll see that you hit it more times.
Okay. Wow.
So that's why you want red essence.
Big damage. That's a big damage difference.
Absolutely. Also, as I explain things like status attacks and elemental attacks, it'll make sense that if you hit a monster more times or more hits, then you're inflicting more of that elemental damage or status damage.
Okay.
So then there are some larger barrels that are overturned on their side. Don't hit it just yet, but you're going to hit one of those next. So first, I want you to do your vaulting attack, which is the right trigger and X.
Right trigger and X, yeah. And, then
just kind of take note of how high you go.
Okay.
Now, shoot your Kinsect and get the white essence from those overturned barrels, and do it again.
How do you know these barrels are giving you... was that prompted to you somehow in the training?
No, I figured that out through testing which barrels give which essence.
Oh, really? Yeah, wow, jumping advanced slash.
Yes. You don't even need to attack. Just the height difference alone should be immediately noticeable.
Wow, that's better.
So if you'll head to the left of that pole that we were attacking, there should be like a wall with vines on it. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then immediately to the right of that, you can see that there's a little ledge.
Yeah.
If you will, with white essence, do the vaulting attack, you can just jump straight up there. You don't even have to climb.
Almost. Let me try. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the insect glaive allows you to kind of bypass your standard movement a little bit, especially as you have white essence. And then last but not least, if you would, grab the orange essence from the small barrels.
Those the explosive ones?
No, not the explosive one. They're small and upright.
I see them.
And just make sure you have all 3 essence types. Excuse me.
I have all, no worries, I have all 3 of them.
Yeah. So that should, in theory, give you the... I'm not sure exactly what the stat buff is, but it's like increased critical chance, super armor, extra jumping, and the increased attack bonuses. So if you have all 3, you get all the buffs, plus something extra.
I see the strong, attack. I get the higher jump.
And then, unfortunately, the super armor, I don't have a way to translate and show that to you. But some friendly attacks and certain monster attacks will trip you or knock you back. And if you have super armor, you can ignore the lighter attacks like that. They just won't do anything to you.
Okay.
And then the last thing that you should test with your essences is the difference in the 2 vaulting attacks.
Oh, the circle and triangle?
Yes, while you're in the air. So do it with red essence and without red essence if you can.
Wow. Okay, so I have the white and the red essence right now.
So
I did the circle attack and they gave me the strong.
Strong jumping advancing slash.
Yeah, strong jumping slash, and then what's the other one? Strong jumping advancing slash. Yeah.
So with the strong jumping advancing slash, if you hit with the final attack of that, then it will launch you back into the air, and you can do it again, and you can do that infinitely. It's not optimal damage, but it is really cool looking and does a lot of mounting damage. So when you...
What do you mean infinitely?
As long as you're hitting with the final attack of the strong jumping advancing slash, it does vaulting dance, and then you can hit circle again and do another jumping advancing slash.
Oh yeah, really? Wow. Yeah, look at that.
And so as long as you keep hitting the monster with the last attack, you can do it over and over and over and over again.
You can do that until you... I just ran out of the red essence,
Yes.
so it stopped me there.
Yeah. So basically infinitely, within the limitations of your essence. There are very few monsters that I know of you're going to be able to do that regularly or even want to do that regularly, because that bread and butter combo that I was talking about, the triangle, triangle, circle, that's the one you want to be doing most of the time.
Okay.
But you'll also need stamina, but we'll go over some items that cover that later. But it looks like you do recover a bit of stamina even during it. So... Other than that, tell me, how's your sharpness looking now?
It looks like it's about 3/4 way full, and it's
Is it green or yellow?
Yeah, it's green.
Okay, so green is the highest level that they give us in the beta. As in the full launch, we'll have some other colors that go higher than that. And for the most part, as long as you're not bouncing off of the monster, you're okay. But as soon as you start bouncing, then you want to sharpen again. So do me a favor and go hit one of those barrels that was laying on its side that gives you the white essence.
Okay.
You should bounce off of that. Longsword does not trip other people as much as it used to.
Not bouncing off. Yeah, not bouncing off it. It's just moving around a little bit.
The large barrels that are laying on their side.
Yeah, the large ones. Let me try a different one.
It may be. I may be bouncing because I was yellow. Let me see if green bounces.
I just broke that one. So I did just sharpen my blade, so it's green completely. But now I'm breaking these the big barrels that are on their side.
What color essences do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh, it's strange because I'm definitely bouncing off of these.
There's only one on their side, right?
There should be 2. They're the ones that give white essence.
Let's double check that.
The really large ones. Oh, I found.
Yeah.
Oh, I found one that I don't bounce off of. Okay, that may be the one you were hitting. So
I'm hitting all of them and I'm not bouncing off. I've tried multiple. That's strange.
it is strange. Let me see if there's a visual difference.
Okay, there's one. Here's one. There's a darker one that I'm bouncing.
There
off.
we go. Okay, so we found it. Thank you, chat, for letting me know that they're all different hardnesses. I've only ever hit these 2. I assumed the other ones were. So yeah, so that's what a bouncing attack looks and sounds like.
Okay.
The
So that dulls your blade faster.
Yes,
and
it still deals damage, but it will decrease your sharpness faster and it'll deal reduced damage, and you can't combo during it.
So do monsters have some monsters have
Just
scales or something?
yeah,
That,
they'll be harder in certain places, and you'll want to make sure you're hitting the soft spots or the critical areas if you can.
Okay.
If you start bouncing, it's usually an indicator that you need to sharpen your weapon. If your weapon is already as sharp as it can get, it typically means that you need to hit it somewhere else.
Okay.
So just as an idea of how to use your weapon, that's a general rundown of Insect Glaive. You want to do the mini game to get at least your red essence. That's the most important one. And then you want to get white if you can. And if you have the opportunity, if you're not pressed for time, you can also grab orange. And then once you've got the triple buff, you just go to town on the monster. And that's the basics of your weapon.
But each monster that I put will have a different way to get each color essence.
Yes.
Is what I'm assuming.
Yes. So I had mentioned it during the hunt, but it's easy to forget or easy to miss. But most of the time, a monster's aggressive zones, like its claws or its mouth, are where you get red. Its mobility, so like wings or legs, are where you get white. And then hardened defensive areas are where you get orange. So they're tied to what the buff does.
Okay.
So since red boosts your attack, it comes from the attacking parts of the monsters. Since white boosts your mobility, it comes from mobility parts of the monster. So on and so forth. Now that's basically it for your weapon. If you want, we can go over some more of the more crunchy mechanical things like items and your slinger, or we can try hunting again, and you can try out all the new tricks you learned.
I'm up for either way. Whatever you think of. If doing the mechanical things first and learning about the items would help with the next hunt, then I'm fine with doing that before we
Sure. So
jump into it.
let's learn some other fun mechanics. So if you will run up the right side of that big totem pole, you'll go up a big hill, and you'll see that there should be like a large ramp, a dirt ramp, and then beside that it looks like a cliff that you can jump off of.
Yeah, I see that with the vines hanging down.
Yes. So don't jump to the vines or you'll grab onto them and swing. But if you sprint off of that ledge and attack, you'll do a jumping attack. And you can do that even with your weapon not being drawn.
Yeah, jumping slash.
Yep. And then if you'll head back up that hill and then sprint down the ramp, you'll start sliding, and you can do the same thing.
Jumping advanced slash.
Yes. So those are your two, like, off of a ledge attacks or sliding attacks. So monsters will run away from you, and occasionally you'll have the opportunity to slide down and catch up to them. So those are two different mechanics that just you may not be aware of. And then on top of that, we're going to look at what your slinger can do. So if you'll head back up that same hill that you were just sliding down, and then look up, you'll see like a weird golden beetle. It's called a wedge beetle.
A wedge beetle.
Let me know when you see it.
Yeah, I think I see him.
All right, and then activate your slinger by holding down left trigger and push circle.
Ah, okay, I'm swinging now.
Yeah, and then you can swing from those, and then you jump off by pushing X. And then, of course, you can attack while you're in the air. So it's a good way to get out of the way of attacks. So just you want to keep an eye out for the environment. They've done a really good job of incorporating the environment into the game this time around through the wedge beetles and things like that.
I need to have my weapon sheath
To use your slinger
during that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then
The exception to that is using the sword and shield, but that is a unique feature to that weapon.
okay.
So after you've kind of got a hang of doing that, if you will run behind that totem pole, you'll see some red mushrooms growing out of the roots of a tree.
Yeah, I think I'm out. Yeah, I'm right there.
Okay, now sprint at those mushrooms.
Climbed up and jumped off of
Yeah,
them.
it's it allows you to run off and get a jumping attack.
Is that special to those mushrooms, or is it?
There may be one or two other things in the environment that do the exact same thing, but I know that so far what they've shown us, there are plenty of these mushrooms around in the different environments.
Okay. All right, that's good. I get some good air there.
Yeah. So other than that, the only thing that you really need to know before your next hunt is the difference between like weak spot damage and standard damage. So when you're hitting the totem pole, your numbers should be yellow or like a soft, like almost gold color, gold orange, depending on your color settings.
Say that one more time.
When you hit that totem pole, the damage numbers should be like an orange or yellow gold.
Okay, I see it's like an orange gold.
Yeah, that means that you're hitting a weak spot and you're doing bonus damage. If you'll hit the small barrels on the ground, it should just be regular. Well, I guess the large barrels, the ones you don't bounce off of. It should just be white.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, I see it.
That means you're doing normal damage, and then
Okay.
a darker gray is resisted damage. Clearly, you want to be doing critical damage as much as possible, but it is a way of the game telling you, hey, this spot on the monster is a weak spot. Keep hitting them there.
Okay.
That's a really, really brief rundown of most combat mechanics. So if you'd like, I'm going to go ahead and set up another lobby. You just need to go talk to the housekeeper cat next to the red item box, and that'll take you back to the title screen. And then we can
Okay, I think also
we can hunt
Great.
we can hunt the Jagras again, and then after that, I'll kind of give you a breakdown of what your hunting items and things like that do. And
Sweet.
for anybody that's here in chat and is curious about the program, not only do I have the URL and stuff up, but this is more of a crash course than what you should expect us to be doing most of the time. The pairing somebody up with a veteran or a novice, our expectation is that they're going to hunt with you. They're going to give you a breakdown of what's going on, and you'll learn all of this over time. We would like that we would like to see by the end of our curriculum or our syllabus that any novice is able to say, you know what, I don't really feel like a novice anymore. I think I have a handle on the game. I think I can handle myself. But since this is kind of for the beta and some we're kind of doing this in a single shot, I am crash coursing you a little bit.
Okay.
So if it feels like a lot of information, don't worry, it will be a little bit more spoon-fed.
Even for the beta, in this case, I see there's full multiplayer assignments, the Wild Spring Rampage, and so on. And then Intermediate, Expert, and Caution.
Yes.
Is it, if I were to go for the Ancient Forest Menace, would that be like incredibly hard for me to complete at this level?
Yes. Yeah, that will have you hunt Anjanath, and that is not an easy hunt for a novice hunter.
Okay.
It's really good to just kind of get your feet underneath you for the Great Devourer, and then once you feel confident and comfortable hunting him, you move on to the next, the Wild Spire Rampage. Now, the full game is going to do what they've done in the past, I hope, and do a really good job of just like easing you into things. And then every once in a while, you're going to hit a wall. There's going to be a monster that just, it has your number, and you're going to look at that monster, no matter if you're hunting alone or with your friend, you're like, this monster fucks me up on a regular basis. And you know what? Every single one of us has been there, and every single one of us will be there. And that's okay. You will eventually sit down to hunt that monster, and you'll either struggle and get past it, or something will click and you'll just get it. For me, that monster is Tigrex, which is an old hand of the series, and I have around 10,000 hours in Monster Hunter as a whole, and that monster still has my number.
How do you track that across multiple games?
I've looked at like the average time spent and just kind of extrapolated from there. But for Monster Hunter 1 on the PS2, it was literally the only game I owned on PS2 for like 14 months or something. So I played all day, every day. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get another quest ID up.
All right.
And I'll send that over to you.
I am ready when you are.
Yeah, everybody has a wall, and that's perfectly fine.
So are there still? You mentioned that one monster, but are there? Do you see other missions in Monster Hunter World that as missions that you'll have an incredible difficulty completing?
I think that it is entirely dependent on the individual. Some people they will struggle for days with Rathalos, which is a red dragon that's actually in the beta that you can fight. And others will have no problem with him. Diablos as well is a monster that has traditionally given a lot of people a lot of trouble, whereas others it's a breeze. Something just clicks and they get it.
Even as you, with someone with 10,000,
Yes.
as many hours.
Yes.
All right.
Like I said, Tigrex, even 10,000 hours into the franchise, still gives me trouble.
I'm assuming there's monsters that span across, all the different games that have come out since the PS2, since the earlier consoles.
Rathalos is one of those monsters. And he's kind of the United States flagship. He's that red dragon I was talking about. And before we end stream today, I will make sure to show him to you, just to kind of give you an idea.
Is this going to be the matchmaking in
No,
the new game with these codes?
No. This is for beta. Once the game is fully launched, as I understand it, you'll be able to join on friends. You'll be able to. They'll still have lobby codes, and then there may be one additional method of joining. Like I think you can send direct invites.
Okay. Yeah. I was worried. It's very clunky.
If you'll go ahead and close your or go back, like don't be ready. Go to change your equipment. I'm gonna walk you through an armor setup that will kind of help you do more mounting attacks.
Sure.
So I think so what you want to do is you want the Angefalds, or not the Angefalds, excuse me, the Hunter's Folds. So it'll give you Master Mounter or Folds. I don't know how to pronounce that. So if I'm
the hunter's gear.
It'll just the Hunter's Folds. Yes.
Hunter's Folds.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
you can mix and match your armor skills to get different sets or different skills. Oh, I did do the wrong overlay. My bad.
So I got the Hunter's Fold. What about for the rest? Does it matter about the rest of my?
So the rest of them, I just wanted to get you that one first, but let's go down to the boots. And for this one, go ahead and take the Jagras leggings for speed eating.
Got it.
And then go up to your gloves and take Jagras gloves for speed eating again.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then where is the other speed eating? Okay, so your helmet. Choose the Forest Helm to get your final rank of speed eating.
All right. And then anything for the armor, or is that not matter?
You can go ahead and take Hunter's Armor for the attack boost. And then for your charm on the left side, you may want to go ahead and grab the attack charm.
Got it.
Okay, so now if you'll push the... actually, I don't even know what that button is on the PS4. The big flat square one. What is it? The PS button? Home button?
Is the one in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then it opens up a skill info?
Yes, that if you'll push your right bumper, it'll show you what you have equipped.
Speed eating, attack boost, monster mounter.
Mm-hmm. And if you scroll down to each one of those, it'll show you what you get from it.
Increases speed eating and item consumption of speed. Increases attack power. Also improves affinity at higher levels and makes it easier to hunt monsters.
There you go. So the game will do as much as it can to show you what you have, which is kind of new. They haven't always given very much information in regards to what skills did in the past. Especially like they would name them something, and then once you hit a certain breakpoint, they would change the name of what it was, the active skill. So it was a little, well, not even a little, it was very unintuitive. So they've done a very good job of breaking down skills now. So now that you've got your armor on, go ahead and get ready to depart.
Okay.
You're ready to go. This is going to be the same monster that we hunted before. But now you should have a little bit better grasp of your weapon.
Okay, there you go.
Alright, so now we're going to do something that I tell everybody to do. You should never hunt on an empty stomach. If you'll come over here by me, we're going to eat. This is the canteen. You sit at any of these logs with a red tablecloth on it. You'll pay with money. And then for this, they'll give you 4 options to choose from. If you hit the touchpad, it'll show you the skills that you can gain from eating those. And then each food will also give you its own statuses. Like it'll increase your health. It'll increase your stamina. It may increase your attack. It may increase your defense, elemental resist, or any combination of those things. For this, I recommend go ahead and eating the meat platter to get yourself an attack up.
Will this be reflected in the full game
Yes.
too, or is it going to be a little bit?
Well, there will be more depth to it. Like there will be many more options of what you can eat, and what skills they give you.
Okay, great. So health plus 27, plus 25 attack up.
Yep. And then it should have activated or potentially activated what are called feline skills, but some people call them kitchen skills. And those do various things. Like they'll make it so that you're less likely to bounce off of a monster, or you can sharpen faster sometimes. Oh, we went the wrong way again. I'm not used to starting at this camp. In traditional hunts, this box right here, this supply box, will be full of useful items and just helpful things in low rank, just to help you out on the quest you're on. At the end of the quest, any items in this that you get from this box, with a very few exceptions, will disappear. So it's best to use them before you use your regular consumables. You can go ahead and head out and find the hungry, hungry boy. And since these monsters just give green essence, there's no reason to really work on them or do anything. But in other hunts, with an insect glaive, sometimes you'll want to go ahead and hit the small monster with your kinsect because they'll give you an essence that you like.
Will this be in the madness? Like if you're hunting, very.
Typically when you're looking for the large monsters. So right now what we're doing is we're looking for tracks and stuff. So right over here are some skid marks. So,
oh yeah, I see.
And then if you'll activate the prompt, it should say circle. That will help you in tracking the monster that you're looking for. Or tracking a monster, I should say. And as you fill that bar up, you'll get different bonuses. Like the scout flies will be able to track it easier, or they'll tell you where the monster is going to go next, and that kind of thing.
So was it by chance that we ran into the digress so easily last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically, you're gonna have to track it down, or eventually, you'll begin to memorize where monsters start, because typically it's the same.
Yeah, and you hunt the same monster multiple times.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Kind of the same thing. Yeah.
So he's here.
Let's try to get some essence.
And once again, his head is red, and his legs are white.
Thank God the red, but the white as well. It's moving kind of fast now.
Jagras likes to be a little bit more mobile. So here you'll have to face the frustration of, essence minigame. Typically, if you have red, it's fine to just start hitting. A feature completely unique to the insect glaive is that when you transition areas on a monster, you still deal damage. So if you'll just stop attacking and then press a direction on your joystick. Oh, never mind.
Is there any reason? Is there any reason mounting seems to do not a whole lot of damage?
So the reason that mounting doesn't do a lot of damage while you're mounted is because the monster it's already such a huge benefit. The monster will stop focusing on everybody else. It tunnel visions on the person that's mounting them, and then at the end they get knocked down. So it's almost like a status effect that's just very physical and present.
And if I get an essence that I already have, does that make that essence last longer? Or
in the past, it has, unless you have all 3 buffs. It'll it should reset the timer on that essence. But if once you get all 3, then as I understand it, you can't reset the timer.
Okay.
So do you see this little purple cloud right here?
Yeah.
So whenever you send your insect out, occasionally you'll spawn those. If you attack them, they'll burst and deal damage.
Oh, okay.
And the color they are determines what kind of damage they do. The purple ones deal poison damage.
So if we lose track of him...
These scout flies show us the way. You just follow your scouts. Well, it's not just R2, or yeah, it's not just R2 during a combo. You can also send your mark out. So like if you hold L2 with the weapon drawn and push R2, you'll launch a little, like almost like pheromones for your Kinsect to track and home in on.
Okay.
And that causes those little clouds to form. And I'm not sure if you can see, but right now he's got some purple like drooling out of his mouth. That indicates that he's poisoned, which means he's taking a constant source of damage over time.
Finding it hard to land the...
Yeah, it can be rough. That's why, I mean, especially with Jagras, who is a fairly small monster, honestly. So I notice you're getting knocked around a bit, and that's fine. Learning monster patterns takes a lot of time and experience, but something that I like to tell people is don't overcommit. Just because you know your bread and butter combo doesn't mean you should always use it. If the monster looks like they might be winding up for an attack or getting ready to move, it's perfectly fine to stop attacking or roll to try and dodge.
Mm-hmm.
With the insect glaive specifically, you have the unique ability to do that nice pole vault and try to get out of their way. You gotta mount it again.
When it says R2 to raise him, I'm holding it, right? I'm not.
I'm sorry,
pressing it.
You cut out for me. What was that?
No worries. When I'm mounting him, it shows me like R2 to brace.
Yes.
Am I holding R2 then, or am I pressing it?
You would hold R2.
Okay.
And then when you're on the monster, you can also push a direction, and that will transition you to a different area on the monster during the mount.
Okay, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get some kind of great Jagras parts broken.
Yes. So that means that you have broken something that is breakable on him. That may be his mane. It could be his claws. Every monster has several breakable locations, and you should receive a visual clue. Like right now, it looks like his stomach is got some stretch marks on it, and that's because we've broken it. Oh, excuse me. Which when you break parts on monsters, it causes you get a higher chance of receiving those parts in rewards. And right now, he's chewing on you a little bit. So like if you break their claws, you're more likely to get their claws as a reward. If you break their back, then you're more likely to get parts off of their back as a reward. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do now, if you'll sheath your weapon and just kind of dodge for a minute, like don't try not to get hit. I want you to hold left bumper and push circle or square until you see paralysis knife in the bottom right. You're gonna cycle through your items.
You said paralysis knife?
Yes.
I don't see that at all.
If you're holding left bumper and then you just want to push, you should be able to push circle or square to cycle through the items in the bottom right.
Oh, okay. I was looking somewhere else.
Yeah, not your quick wheel, not your quick wheel.
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, paralysis knife.
All right. So then once you have that, go ahead and push square to equip it into your slinger. And then oh, you put on your mantle. Don't worry. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna help you change your options so that your quick wheel is a little more intuitive after this. But if you have your paralysis knives equipped, you should see 5 out of 5.
What do I press to equip it?
Square. Square is your default use item button.
I have the poison knife.
Oh yeah, you can do D-pad left right. You guys are right. I'm an old hand, so I missed some things. Yeah, so long as you have your paralysis knives showing,
okay,
there you go.
There you go.
They're equipped.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the Jagras, and we're gonna use those and paralyze it. That's slinger ammo, so you'll use your slinger to fire those.
And that was what, holding L2 and then using R2 to fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like he's gone to sleep. So go ahead and scroll over to your large barrel bomb. You can also use the D-pad left and right to move, to change items. I'm just gonna try and keep the little ones off you here.
I have the large barrel bomb.
Okay, let's go set those down next to his face over here. Oh, you already set yours down.
Oh, I said. Can I move them?
No, you know what? I don't know. You might be able to pick them back up. Traditionally, you can't. Nope, doesn't look like you can.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Now you know. So then you want to set those right here next to his face, and then your small barrel bomb or the one right next to it. If you'll set that right next to this bomb. Oh no, he's waking up.
No, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, I said.
When a monster is asleep, they take bonus damage. Specifically, I believe they take 2 times damage from bombs or 3 times damage from attacks. But because bombs do so much damage, it's usually better to use bombs.
What was that flash?
So there was a flash fly over here, and I activated it, which causes like a flashbang effect. You can see he's got the little birdies going over him, which means yeah, he's blind. He can't see us. Here's another flash fly over here, which you can either attack it or activate it, and it'll cause it to go off. Oh, is it 2 times for both? Thank you guys. So apparently it's 2 times damage from all sources in war, not 3 times.
When sleeping?
Yeah. Yes. And don't forget to call your Kinsect back, even when you're doing your attacks. It's as simple as left trigger and circle. As you begin to gain more of a mastery of the weapon, you will be able to weave the Kinsect attacks into your combos.
All right, you completed the quest.
So now you want to come over here and hold circle, and you'll start carving parts off of him. I will in a second, Rumble. I was planning on it. So these are the parts that you gather to craft new items, new armor, and new equipment. since everything in the game that you use is crafted, some of it's purchased, but for the most part it's crafted. You go out on these hunts to kill the monster, to carve the monster, and get its parts. Alternatively, you can capture, and then sometimes you'll get bonus parts or extra parts, or you'll have a higher chance of getting rare parts.
Okay. It prompts you to pre-order the game every time you...
Yeah, it's like, hey, go buy our stuff. Like what you're doing? Buy our stuff.
I do like it. That's how I go pick it up, on the PS4.
Yeah. As a longtime fan of the series, this, in my opinion, is like far and away the best thing they've ever done for the series. So many quality of life changes. It's super approachable. It makes what we're doing in Adopt a Hunter, like, it makes our job so much easier because they show you that you're hitting a weak spot. They give you so much information right off the bat. They've put in a training room, for fuck's sake. You can just... They've made it very approachable. They've lowered the skill floor, which is almost never a bad thing. As long as they don't go overboard on lowering the skill ceiling. I don't know. Did you stay in the group with me, or did it disband?
I think it disbanded because I didn't do anything. I think.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
To stay together.
Okay.
What's next?
So, you got your bread and butter combos. You kind of have a good idea of how to use your insect glaive. We can do a hunt again, and I can go over more. Thank you for the host. More hunting items, or we can try a different weapon. Either one of those two things should work.
I mean, I'm very into, obviously, the hunt right now. If we do,
yeah,
would it be the same one?
Yeah, I think let me explain the items or the hunting items to you a little bit more on Great Jaggeris, and then we'll try hunting something different.
Okay.
It should be the same room code if you just want to rejoin.
Sure, let me check.
Hey, my broadcast says it's for mature audiences, so if your virgin ears are in here, that's on you.
Oh, what's that about? Comment in the chat.
Yeah. I said fuck, and somebody said my virgin ears. So there's one more mechanic in your Kinsect that I didn't really mention. Well, one of them that I touched on, and one of them that I haven't mentioned at all. Your bug has stamina, which is a little bar that I'll point out in our next hunt. So when you send the bug out, it's using its energy or its stamina, and if it runs out, then it will automatically come back to you, or it won't go as far as you might have wanted it to, that kind of thing. And then the other thing is what I was telling you. I know it was a joke. I saw the kappa. The other thing I was telling you is, like, when you were making those little purple clouds, that's using that little pheromone attack from your glaive. So, in short, the insect glaive is a really deep weapon. It's got a lot of subsystems going on, but all you need to be successful is red essence.
Okay.
So this time, we're going to go over our hunting items a little bit more. So let's go ahead and eat once we land, because you should never hunt on an empty stomach. And then I will go over some of the items in your action bar, and then the items in your item bar as well. And you can push start to skip the cutscene when she starts feeding you.
What else would it be besides pay with money for that?
They give you something like hunter points for completing, like it's almost like store credit for doing hunts with the guild.
Okay.
And you can usually trade those for various things.
Do other weapons have something similar to, the essences that we have for the feathered glaive? The insect glaive.
So in the insect glaive essences are unique to the insect glaive. The longsword has something called the spirit gauge, which as you do its special combo, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger up to level 3. But that's its own unique mechanic. The insect glaive is the only weapon that has that essence. So if you will look now, just below your sharpness bar, you'll see your bug, and it says 1, 2, and 3, and there's a little orange bar beneath that.
I see it.
Okay, so if you send your Kinsect out, you'll see that its stamina begins to drain. That's its stamina bar.
Okay.
And then you call it back, and it will begin to regain its stamina.
Oh, mine regained it all at once, pretty much.
Yep. The more that's lost, the longer it takes, I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what I'd like you to do now is I'm going to help you change one of your options to make it so that item quick wheel doesn't just start using items even though you don't want it to. So if you'll push start and go over to system and go into options.
Okay.
And then hit R1 to go over to controls.
Okay.
In your radial menu settings, you want to change that to type 2.
Okay, done.
Okay, so now leave the options menu. You want to hold L1 and then use your right stick to mess with items on the radio menu. And now you have to push R3 to use an item. It no longer just automatically uses it. See what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, now it won't just use your stuff. That's something that I wish they had on by default, because when you're running and trying to change items, you typically also want to control the camera. And so people were just like using their stuff.
I see.
Yeah. All right, so let's go through the items that we have in our inventory. It should have you started off on a Mega Potion, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so Mega Potion heals you for a fairly large amount. They're crafted from regular potions and honey, but we're not going to worry about crafting for the beta. Then you have regular potions next to those. They heal you for less. At the beginning of the game, you'll use regular potions, but as you get deeper into the game, what you're actually bringing potions for is to combine with honey to make more Mega Potions. Because you can only carry 10 at a time in a hunt. Next to that is a max potion that will heal you for full, no matter how much HP you have. After that is an antidote, which removes poison. Nullberry, which I believe increases your resistances. I almost never use them, so I don't actually know. Well Done Steak will increase your stamina, but for the beta, we actually already have max stamina. Raw meat is something that you feed to monsters, and so you can use it to bait traps.
So where there's an X over it?
Because we can't use it in the camp.
Okay.
To the next of that is a large barrel bomb, which we used last time. Oh, it removes statuses. Thank you. So Nullberry removes statuses. You'll get something called like Water Blight, which makes your stamina drain faster and recover slower. And so you could eat a Nullberry and it would remove your Water Blight. After the large barrel bomb is a regular barrel bomb. So large barrel bombs won't detonate on their own. You have to detonate them with something. A lot of people use regular barrel bombs because they will detonate on their own. Or you can just attack it or bait the monster into attacking it.
Okay.
Shock traps are pretty much exactly what they sound like. You'll put them down and it electrocutes the monster and holds them in place for a little while. There's another trap type, but you don't start with it. So instead what we're going to do is you're going to go into your camp. You're going to go into your item box.
How goes the exploring?
The supply box is different.
No, it's inside the tent.
Then let the scout fly show you the way.
So then you'll manage items, or go into your item box and manage items. And then on any of the empty spaces, just push X to switch, and you want to grab your pitfall trap. It's the green monster icon. Let me know when you find it.
Got it. Yeah, I just added it to my pouch.
Okay, so then something else that they've added, which is a really nice quality of life feature. If you'll just push triangle, you can restock items, and it will automatically max out all of the items that you have. So that'll give you up to 10 potions, up to 10 mega potions, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice.
And then you can go ahead and head out of the tent. And then, so after your shock trap, you've got your poison knife and your paralysis knife, which we kind of went over last time. You can go ahead and equip those, and then you can change to a different item. Because once they're loaded into the slinger, they're loaded. After those are life powder, which is a small AoE heal. It'll heal everybody within range of you. After,
Yeah, I think I saw you do that earlier.
and then demon powder, that will increase your attack for a short time. And it does it for everybody. Hard shell powder increases everybody's defense for a short time. I'm going to go ahead and use a demon powder just so you can see that the buff is on. It'll appear above your HP bar. You see that? It's like a little sword with an up arrow. In the top left.
I don't think I do. Do you see that in camp?
It should be by your name in the top left.
Oh yeah, I think I see that.
And then
yeah.
and then I'm going to do the hard shell as well, which is a little shield with an up arrow.
Okay.
So that lets you know that you have those buffs and they're active.
Okay.
Beyond that, you've got your whetstone for sharpening, and then a bunch of utility items. But from there, we can go ahead and head out. Again, we went the wrong way. I always go that way here. One of these times, we're going to come here, and I'm not going to go that way. So because we've taken so long, Jagras has likely meandered and wandered around the map a significant amount, so we're going to have to actually track him. So just look for anything that your scout flies tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some skid marks. Not traditional skid marks. If you want, you can open the map by pushing touchpad, and that will allow you to fast travel to other camps on the map, or look at the environmental hazards in an area.
So yeah, cool. I just got a trail to follow.
Yep.
Now that I found a couple.
Yeah.
Good marks.
Awesome. Follow the trail. When you're not in combat, your stamina degenerates either not at all or very slowly, so you can pretty much free sprint, which is very nice. That is a new quality of life feature.
What was that?
Footprints. Yep, I think he's... Oh, the little ones are attacking. So whenever you're in combat, even with small monsters, the scout flies will hide.
You can't. Yeah. So you have to take care of that before you can.
Yeah, or run. Oh, I see him on the map now. On the mini-map, you should be able to see that he's to our southeast. Do you see that?
I see him. Yeah. But there he is.
So this time I'd like you to go ahead and start by using your paralysis knives. Once you hit him with several, he should become paralyzed. He's paralyzed now. Oh, you hit the little ones. So this is a really good opportunity. He's already paralyzed. Once he's paralyzed, hitting him with more won't increase the duration of him. But it is a great opportunity to get lots of free hits in. And then next, I'd like you to go ahead and switch over to your shock trap. And then go ahead and just place that shock trap. And then we want him to come over and get in it. See? So now he's in. Now he's in the trap. So again, opportunity to get free hits in. Do what you need to do.
Oh, it's totally by chance that we didn't really do that.
And now I'm going to put a pitfall trap down, which is the other type of trap. So again,
Oh, wow.
3 hits. Now, if I put another shock trap down, he won't be trapped as long because he'll have some resistance to it. Excuse me. So the next time you hit him, I'd like you to push R2 at the end of your combo, or at some point in your combo. There you go. To basically spawn those little clouds. Something else you want to start weaving into your attacks. Good source.
So I'm sure in this case, it's kind of I don't know if it's a low-level monster, but I could make do with just attacking this monster continuously for however long until I win, but then later on in the game, it's going to be a requirement to use all these different items in order to actually succeed, right?
It'll never be a requirement. There are lots of hunters out there that do naked hunts where they don't wear any armor, they just bring their weapon, and they don't use items. Now, that's more of just like a self-imposed challenge, but you should never outright have to use any item to complete a hunt. You can always complete a hunt with just your weapon. Oh, another monster has joined us. So this is Puke.
I see him.
Puki. He's a poison-spitting chameleon flying bird thing.
I think he poisoned me.
Yes,
So is he
you are
attacking
poisoned.
me or is he attacking-
They'll attack each other and us. So now you need to put your weapon away and use an antidote. It's on your quick wheel in the bottom left.
How do I use it once I...
I'm sorry?
How do I use it once I equip it?
Oh no, you shouldn't need to equip it.
Oh, I think I
Do use your yeah. If you do it in the quick wheel, that'll work.
I think I poisoned
Yeah, that's a good point. You also never have to change weapon types if you don't want to. If you wanted to use the insect glaive the entire game, you could. I'm kind of feeding you to the wolves here and letting them beat up on you a little bit. Right, let me hop in here and help. So traditionally, you want to keep your eyes on your target monster.
yeah.
But for the beta, some people specifically elect to go hunt the others just for fun.
He's like spitting out blue.
Yeah, that poison.
You just eat him. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, if he's drooling purple, it probably means he's poisoned. Oh, you're mounted. Nice. And Puke has decided to fly away. So he's leaving us alone now. Again, if you want to try transitioning on the monster, just push a direction instead of attacking. Because as you start mounting later monsters, they're going to try and ram you into things, and so you'll almost have to transition to different areas to not get knocked off. While we're chasing him down, do you have any other questions for me? Or did I lose you there? I may have lost you.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Not sure what happened there.
I was radio silence. I was like, what happened? I was asking for the map because the game has kind of an evolving map, right? Where it kind of changes as the game progresses, or is it kind of just one map from the get-go?
So there's several different maps or different areas within the game, but within that map there are some dynamic interactables. Like specifically, in this map, there's a big waterfall that's dammed off that you can detonate with bombs, and it causes like almost like Arwen in Lord of the Rings when she crosses the river, where just this huge rush of water. And just different little dynamic things like that. And then within...
Oh shit, that guy's back.
Oh yeah, Puke. And then just like within each of the maps, there's various features that you can interact with and do interesting things with. It looks like he's gone to sleep again, based off the... Oh no, he hasn't. He's still moving. Never mind.
No, he's right. I'm right behind him.
Okay. Typically, when the music stops, you've left combat, and if you're chasing a monster and the music stops, it's because they're trying to go to sleep.
He just went to sleep. I'm gonna drop a bomb next to him.
Nice.
Gotta find it. Yeah.
Scoutflies are too close. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, you know what? I think he's below me.
Work. Nice.
Yeah, I personally like to swap the R1 and R2 buttons just because I think sprint should be in the back. But that's me.
Yeah, I definitely will. The R1, R2, L1, R2 would definitely be pretty boogie guys.
Yep.
That's fine. That's the whole thing with monsters that interact. That's kind of an unpredictable thing, right?
Yep.
You can't like judge when that's gonna happen.
Correct. Yeah, they tried to do a good job with the AI and making sure that it's more dynamic, and it's not just like, oh, if I go here, then this is going to happen. Yes, monsters prefer to spawn in certain areas or do certain things, but their interactions with one another are meant to feel fluid and representative of like a living ecosystem.
So this guy's supposed to be dead. And the time, as a time limit, that's exclusive to the beta, right?
Yes.
Or is that kind of...
Traditionally, you will have around 50 minutes for a hunt. We're actually pushing close to the time limit here. I didn't notice.
Yeah, once the 5 minutes came around, I was a little worried.
We should be able to get it. I am poisoned, but I'm gonna ignore it. There we go.
There we go. I'm not sure if it was us or if it was the dragon.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
You completed the quest. Congrats.
And then again, you can push start to skip those cutscenes.
It's funny that it's that still happened. Like you completed the quest when this other monster is just standing right there.
Yeah, and I mean that 50-minute quest timer is very generous. Like, you don't usually need it. Now, that being said, don't worry about it if you do hit 50 minutes, especially if you're new to the game. I mean, that's why they give you that much time. Oh, I think you forgot to push R3 again. To stay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. You can just rejoin.
I'll jump in. Yeah. What's next?
We can go hunt a different monster next. We're going to hunt a monster called Baroth, which was introduced in the 3rd generation. Some people affectionately refer to him as Barry or a mud puppy. He's
mud puppy.
Yeah. Depending on your definition of adorable, you may find him to be adorable.
Okay.
My capture is stuttering audio again, so extreme.
Doesn't matter what assignment I choose for this one.
No. If you join my lobby, you should automatically join the quest that I'm on.
Okay, it's weird because that option doesn't come in until after you choose a mission.
Yeah,
it's odd to me.
I think it's just a beta feature. Yeah, the hunt times in the beta are not representative of what you'll experience in the full game. Okay. We should be good to go here. We may want to select a different camp, but this is our first time on the map, so camp 1 will be fine, and I'm ready if you are.
All right, let's see.
So this monster is interesting in that he's got a unique behavior where he wants to charge at you. He's got a hardened forehead ridge, and so he's going to lower that and charge at you like a bull. And if he hits you, it's going to send you flying and it's going to hurt. So this is one that's going to test your ability to be patient, look for openings, and not be greedy, much more so than Jagras, who kind of functions as a punching bag.
A monster that's been giving the
We're gonna do the whole never hunt on an empty
You
stomach.
should always eat.
Yes.
Somebody in chat, Ian Sink, says that Baroth is a really good monster to use to teach you about tells or signs that they're about to do something. Almost every monster will have some form of obvious tell where it's like, hey, I'm about to do my really big attack. It's time for you to watch out. So most of the time it should not feel like instantaneous or unfair.
Yeah, this might look way different.
Yes. And then you may want to go ahead and equip your paralysis knives. They're very good to start with. Very generous of them to give them to you. So if you'll come over to where I am, this is one of the game's many unique environmental interactions. This is a paratoad. And if you interact with it, he will explode and cause a cloud of paralysis. So you are now... that also hits monsters.
Okay.
You can assist your teammates by smacking them, usually. There we go. See? No longer paralyzed.
Thank you.
So there's all kinds of those built in. Actually, in our very first hunt, we walked Jagras into like a vine trap, and that was getting him caught while he was mounted.
Funny how the Palicos have little rafts. Didn't notice that.
Yeah, they've got their own little fun stuff going on. They're too small to walk across.
Yeah.
Do you see this little green icon over here? Like a little green circle pointing at a cat.
Yeah, I see that.
So that's another interaction. This Gremlkine is offering to help. If you mount a monster here, they will try to capture it, and so that's another environmental effect.
What does that mean? Try to capture?
So they'll like hold it in place like it's trapped.
Oh, okay.
And here's some footprints. Start tracking. Or here's a dung beetle. This is just a piece of the living environment. You can pick those up or kick them.
Oh, is this a cow pie? Yep, some dung.
I don't know that it belongs to a cow, but yes.
It's a big cow.
It's a mud puppy pie. Again, anybody on stream, if you're hearing me coughing or if I sound stuffy, it's because I am sick. I unfortunately, for the first time in 15 years of events and conventions, have come down with con crud or pax pox, and I'm dealing with that.
Con crud just sounds so gross.
It is. You want to come back this way. His footprints are leading this direction.
Coming.
And then when you're climbing up, if you push X, you'll fire your slinger upward and just kind of grapple hook up.
Go faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this may be Kula Yaku's footprints. So if you'll open your map, which is the touchpad, then on the bottom left there should be an icon or two.
Yeah.
If you'll scroll over that and push X, that's what your scout flies will track. Alternatively, you can select any of your hunting partners or items on the map, and the scout flies will track that instead. Rumble, I don't know that I know that jump, unless it's just a vault into the circle attack.
But it looks like this monster's a little more involved in trying to track and hunt him.
He just starts in it. He doesn't start as close to Camp 1.
Okay.
I'm sure there's another camp that's closer to him that we could have spawned at, but...
Is that him right there? No.
No, that is a regular small monster. Oh, okay. So the larger footprints now that we're tracking are Baroths, which is who we're after. Oh, here he is. Sometimes you'll just stumble into them. Sometimes you'll need to track them. But it's always good to level your scout flies up, because if they run away, it's easier to find. You'll get more information. Yeah, the best weapon is the weapon that you think is the coolest. So I'm going to go ahead and hit him with paralysis. But he is paralyzed.
Awesome. Wow, that guy is big.
And this is actually still a rather small monster.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean,
so his head once again is red. His small arms are white or are orange, and then his legs are.
Water blight.
is there another monster coming this way? What is that thing over there?
That is Kula Yaku. He's a little turkey that gets very brave if he picks up his rock. Oh, you're already mounted. Yeah, it looks like you are learning your transitions. There you go. See how the insect glaive doesn't attack when you're transitioning? Like you do that like spinning jump and you hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is unique to the insect glaive. No other weapon does that. The insect glaive is the mounting specialist weapon. You still want to do your... There you go. So if you'll focus on the tail, we're going to learn about severing monster parts. You can actually cut his tail off if you do enough damage to it.
So what's he doing?
He's shaking his mud off. Thankfully, we've knocked most of the mud off of him already, so there isn't much. But when he's doing that and he's covered in mud, if you get hit by it, then it will, like, it's a status that happens to you and it immobilizes you. I believe. In the past, it immobilized you. I think I've actually been hit by it in the beta. Sorry, Ratster. I was very, very busy at PAX South, so it's very rare that I was free or not otherwise occupied. But here's a really good opportunity to do that bread and butter combo we learned. And then you can hold back and do the vaulting attack to jump backwards.
Oh, okay. That's helpful.
Yeah. Oh, that's my Switch friend code. Oh. Oh, and why is Stream Elements on? Ugh. Don't do that. I gotta turn stream elements off.
It's not letting me sprint anymore with L1. I'm trying to figure out why that is.
R2 is your sprint. Or R1 is
R2.
R1 is your sprint. I'm sorry. I forgot. I switched those controls. So my R2 and R1 are switched.
Okay.
There was his charge. And I saw somebody in the chat mention monster roars, and how I haven't brought them up yet. And you're right, Jagras doesn't have one at all. Baroth has one, but it doesn't actually do anything. I was going to bring it up once we moved on to a larger monster, but it is something that I can mention. So as monsters get bigger or more ferocious, they have, you know, their own unique roars. Depending on the monster, that roar can basically immobilize you. Oh, cut his tail off.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Now after... Oh. Almost got hit by his charge. You can see the tail here. You can actually carve the tail and get more monster parts from it. But yeah, the big monsters will roar, and it will stagger you and make it so you stop moving. And Rathalos in particular likes to roar, which will then immobilize you, and then shoot a fireball right at you.
Minutes.
Yeah, don't worry about running out of time for this.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried.
You see that charge, and you hear like the train whistle that goes off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're mounted again. Oh, and you're getting them over by the Grimalkine, so they're gonna help. See?
Nice. Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. And you can kind of steer the monster based off where you are on him. Oh, I tripped you. That's my bad. Oh, and you're bouncing as well.
Yeah.
Now is a good time to sharpen. I mean, yeah, you would love to get the free damage in, but if you do need to sharpen, then while he's down is a great window.
My blade's doing pretty good so far.
Right. So that was a roar. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. It's still tiny.
So he's gonna run off. Tigrex roar will do damage to you. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't even have to be brute Tigrex. Regular Tigrex roar in Double Cross was enough to damage. Alright, so I think this is the jump that Rumble was talking about. Nope. If there is some special way to do that, I do not know it. Or I failed. Oh, you had to go the other way? Okay. That's fine. There's Kulu. We can just ignore him. And then when you're sliding, you actually don't consume stamina, but you maintain that same sprint speed. So that's just handy. If you can slide, you should. And if you want, you can use your shock traps or your poison or your pitfall trap if you grabbed it and bait him into those. So you might want to go ahead and heal. Mega potion. Oh, never mind. Your cat got you.
There it is. Oh, my cat is there for me.
Yep. The cats in the beta have 3 separate abilities. They have a heal, they have a flash bomb, and they have a taunt. Right now you have the heal equipped.
That's going to change in the full game?
Yeah. Yes, they should have different abilities and more than just the 3. And your cat will hunt with you when you're solo or with a single friend.
Okay, they're not in a group.
Correct. Once you have 3 or more players, the cat no longer joins you. But no matter what, monster health always scales in multiplayer the same, no matter if you have 2, 3, or 4 players.
Yeah. I had that understanding. There's no special way to mount, right? You should be in the right place.
So,
at the right time.
actually, I'm glad you asked, because the way mounting works is that monster, like each aerial attack does like mounting damage specifically, and monsters have a threshold. Once you've dealt enough mounting damage, you mount them.
Oh, I fainted.
Oh, you did. That's your first cart?
Not...
In Monster Hunter, it's called carting. I'm sure you see why. You're dragged back to camp on a cart and then unceremoniously dumped.
I was not paying attention to my health at all.
That's alright. It's good that it happened. Somebody in chat did mention that yes, the cat is purely optional. You can elect to disable them if you want to.
How dare you? Why would you even consider
Some
that?
people consider them to be more of a nuisance. You know, the monster might focus on the cat when you'd much rather it focus on you. That kind of thing.
Is that part of the? You mentioned people hunting just bear and with nothing but the weapon.
Pretty much. Sinnoh, thank you very much for the host. Yeah, like those like the purists who are like, I want to prove that I am the best and I can do this naked, will usually disable their Palico companion. So you're getting hit a couple times. Your health is about halfway, so you want to go ahead and heal. Mega potions are up left on the quick bar. There you go, you got to mount it again. And we likely won't complete this quest just because, for the most part, I'm observing rather than participating.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time tracker, right? It just gives you those notifications for every...
The top left, right next to your name, there's a little clock. Each hash mark on the clock is 5 minutes. He's very tired. You can tell that because he's drooling and he's moving slower. So the monster is exhausted. Each time you mount a monster, their mounting resistance goes up as well.
Okay.
Same with paralysis, status, or like poison, any status that happens to them. I'm going to go ahead and shock trap him. Oh, nope, he's running away. So I should set up my trap for nothing. It's gone now. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen since he's transitioning zones and we have the opportunity to do so.
Okay.
But for the most part, it looks like you're slowly getting the hang of it, which is, you know, exactly what I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping that you're picking it up a little bit faster than you would on your own. And you know, of course I exist to answer any questions that you might come up with. And I'm
yeah, exactly.
trying to make sure that I'm not doing most of the work when we're doing the hunts. Something else that the Insect Wave really shines at is just repositioning yourself and getting, you know, sticking to the monster. The ability to fly through the air and then, you know, go in basically any direction you want is very handy.
Oh shit.
Oh, he's limping.
Yeah, Hitler's in really bad shape.
There's the timer. Oh, we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Look,
That does not seem good.
It's alright if we don't get it. So if you've got your trap still, now would be a really good time to use it. You still got that trap, right?
Is that the shock trap?
Yes. Oh, he's running off. Oh, and you're stunned.
Yeah, I was trying to.
When you're stunned, you just want to wiggle the stick left and right. The left stick.
Okay.
I think we will run out of time before we get the chance to do anything else.
It's so sad. He looks like a poor hurt animal.
Yep.
We're just beating him to death.
So when they're limping like this, you can also capture them. Unfortunately, they don't give you any tranquilizers for the demo. You can craft them, but they don't give you any. But what you would do is you would put a trap down, and then when they're in the trap, you would use your tranquilizers.
Okay.
All right, so make sure you go over
Looks like
to
you failed
play
the
again
quest
this time.
this time.
Push
we'll
R3.
try again soon. Right? Right.
Okay. Got it this time.
And then once that's done, so this time what's going to happen, I'm going to bring a different weapon. I will not be bringing the insect glaive. I'm going to bring a hammer and do my best to try and break his forehead to kind of show you how that works. And so I'm going to leave the tail to you. And that's kind of what you're going to run into as you're hunting more in launch is in your hunting parties, like one person will be like, okay, I'm a hammer user, so I should be hitting the monster in the head. An insect glaive user should be focusing on trying to get mounts on the monster to knock them down for everybody else, as well as focusing on tails and things like that. Everybody kind of gets their own area. And as the monsters get larger, it's a little bit easier to manage that.
And at any point during the entire program, do you special 4 players or 3 players?
I'm sorry, you cut out for me. You said at any point during the program, do you, and then I lost you.
No worries. Do you focus on hunting with 3 or 4 players, as a group for the new player?
So program specifically, no, but also yes. As far as Adopt a Hunter specific, like here's the guidelines. It's all one-on-one. However, we actively encourage you to pair up with another veteran and novice pair and go out together to do hunts of 4. And we aren't made of iron. We are not rigid. And so if there is a need for it in the program, or if it would be beneficial for the program throughout its duration, I am 100% open to the idea of doing larger. Like, here's how you would hunt with 4 people. Here's what you might do with 3 people, and things like that. I'm willing to adapt and change the program as needed.
Got it. So, anything I should do before?
No, you should be good.
There you go.
Unless you wanted to change your equipment specifically, but you should be good.
No,
Okay.
A monster that's
Make
been giving your
sure you
research
eat.
division a lot of headaches has shown up again. Yes!
I see you turned your helmet off. Oh no, never mind. That was just for the animation, I suppose.
Yeah, the animation.
So this time, hammers do KO damage, which if you're hitting a monster in the head, can knock them out. They also do a fair bit of exhaustion damage, which makes the monster tired and more likely to slow down, as you noticed last time.
Okay.
Like the hammer specialty is that it is a very straightforward weapon. It does a lot of damage, and it can knock the monster out. It is probably... Oh, here he is. Probably the least deep weapon in the game. Very, very straightforward. Very approachable. Oh, nice. Paralyzed already.
I broke something on him. So.
Nice. He is moving already. I'll get my my paralysis knives out. Try and get him paralyzed again. Something is like a point of pride with this monster specifically. When he does that charge, you can occasionally catch him with your hammer and like interrupt him out of it, and it's just really satisfying to do that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. Right there, I just knocked him out. There you go, you got the mount. Nice job.
Okay. I got the captain.
Oh, nice.
Too with,
Oh. I was too far for my combo attack to hit. Alright, so I just broke his forehead, which is what I set out to do. You see that piece on the ground now?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so you can carve that, just like cutting off his tail.
Does that have any effect on his longevity? Oh, I'm not really good.
It may turn his head into a weak spot. So instead of being a hard spot that you would normally bounce off of, he would now take bonus damage there.
Totally, okay.
I see you're back mounted again. Awesome. You broke his back. Nice job. Make sure you're also doing the regular stabs. You don't want to just do the transition attack.
The slash fury seems to do more damage.
When you, as you do the stabs though, what'll end up happening is you get to do the special finisher, which does a lot of damage on its own.
You went in. Alright, I have the perilous knives out.
Nice.
Paralyzed knives.
Nice. I think I have one left. So if you're coming from the other direction, you can actually do something neat with the insect glaive specifically. You can pole vault from the top of this, and then use the circle attack to fly across without having to jump down to the bottom.
Yeah, I was wondering, there must have been a way to you know, move across that more quickly. There he is.
Oh, you know what? I am gonna test something here. Oh, I paralyzed it. Dang it. Doesn't look like the monster I was looking for is here. I was trying to summon a much bigger monster into the fight.
Oh, that would've been cool.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple, you know, instances where a bigger monster comes in and, you know, does major damage, or even some environmental change, like a waterfall comes out of nowhere.
Yep. So I'm mounted now, which the hammer, for its finisher, gets to do a nice big charge attack, though I'm not really paying attention. I may get knocked off here.
So what are your thoughts on playing alone?
You should absolutely play alone. The game is very, very fun in a group, but you're not really missing anything from the solo experience. And as I understand it, for World specifically, they have designed it so it's all integrated the same. Traditionally, there's been an online mode and an offline mode that were separate. But this time, they're together. But there's absolutely nothing at all that should stop you from hunting alone if that's what you want to do. Oh, did you get stunned?
I get stunned. I have very little health left. Okay.
Alright, chat. Laggy is not the only good water monster. You can never forget Goble. I'm gonna put some bombs down while he's in that trap. Oh, you almost hit him.
Close.
So you don't have to wait for him to be asleep to get bombs off, but if you don't, it requires a little bit more timing and finesse.
Yeah.
And he's stunned again. And paralyzed. And then he just broke this termite spire over here, so now you can climb on top of it and use it to jump off of for jumping attacks. So just another instance of like the living environment. Oh Lord, what a jerk. How's your weapon sharpness doing?
Oh, that is something that I should.
Something new for this, I don't know how much you played on handheld, but like having the living sharpness bar where it actually shows you how deep into your sharpness is such a nice quality of life improvement.
No, that was very different. I don't remember anything of that sort happening on the 3DS.
I kind of touched on the difference between bludgeoning damage and slashing damage at the start of the hunt, guys, but I guess I can expand on it. So like I mentioned before, the hammer does the bludgeoning damage or KO damage. So it actually cannot cut tails off. Like it specifically is not cutting damage, whereas what your weapon does with a blade is cut.
So you mastered him? Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get to the head. No, thank you, Dex. I'm in teacher mode, so typically I'm much more chill and just like, you know, go with the flow than this. But this is on the more special side. So I appreciate you guys who tuned in and came out. And, you know, thank Aaron for being here.
This has been a great time. I appreciate you guys. You especially. Giving me the time to just show me the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like I said, I've been doing this for friends since 3rd generation. When I actually started actively trying to recruit people to play with me, I bought my roommate a Wii U just so we could play 3 Ultimate together.
Wow. Damn.
I have a very intense love of this game. It means a lot to me. It's absolutely my favorite franchise. Something about it just speaks to me in a way that most other games don't. So, you know, for you to reach out and want to take part and want to experience it is exactly what, you know, that's why we started Adopt a Hunter, is so that there are resources for people who want a little bit of a guiding hand, a little bit of a mentorship. He's flying around the damn map. And I missed.
Because it seems like this game, it's been, it's not, I wouldn't say it's hard to get into in terms of if you set your mind to it, but it is, one of those games where you just drop tens of hours into it, so it can be intimidating.
Yeah,
that helps to have this kind of...
Again, they have made World the most approachable that any Monster Hunter game has ever been, and they are to be commended for that. I think that anybody who wants to can buy this game and get into it and not struggle. Like, as long as you give it the time and give it the effort. In past titles, you really kind of couldn't do that. You had to look elsewhere for information. But we exist to supplement that. If you want to kind of skip the middleman or spend a little less time researching. Oh look, another monster is here.
Yeah, I see the guy in the water, right?
Giratodos is what he's called.
Oh, dang.
I just call him Jerry, but they're fighting each other now. But yeah, I mean, the Adopt a Hunter program exists as like a way to kind of get past that initial 90-degree learning curve and be like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. Thank you very much. And on top of that, hopefully you'll make some friends and always have somebody to hunt with.
Monsters are fighting each other? Maybe we can use this to our
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
wow. Is there anything we can do in that situation, or do we just stand back?
You can hit them during it.
We're getting tired again like last time.
So that right there specifically is called a turf war. Certain monsters will have a specific interaction where they really just don't like that somebody else is in their turf, and that happens. It does a pretty sizable chunk of damage to the monster that loses, and then some decent damage even to the winner as well.
Really a way to tell who lost that one?
Giratodos, I believe, lost because he took the big, meaningful, meaty damage out of it. So I'm gonna launch you there, just to kind of show you how friendly attacks can interact with one another. Hammer, greatsword, switch axe, and a few others have attacks that specifically launch like I did to you. Usually you'll just trip somebody or knock them down. Excuse me.
Basically using that Washington cold weather.
Oh, and I was down in Texas for South and just nasty con crud. You get 80,000 people in one building. Who knows what you're cultivating?
No, yeah, I was at Comic-Con E3 earlier last year, but same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you just about, this is one of the burning questions I had earlier, but we have a little time now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the veterans, that they get, the ones that are volunteering their time to come in and show the ropes to the new players, what do you think they get out of this? And I don't want to say that they have to get something out of it. What do you think? Well, how do they benefit?
So, obviously from a purely business standpoint, it's all on a volunteer basis.
Yeah, of course.
And so, hard-wise, we don't have anything to offer them right now. That being said, Capcom, I have spoken with Capcom's community manager. They have agreed to offer us some form of support, though the details on that are to be announced, coming soon, TM. So we will be receiving some form of Capcom support officially. How that
you have no idea of what that would
how
be.
That will manifest, I don't know yet. We've talked about a few options, but I don't know if I'm at liberty to say. But I mean, you kind of get hunting buddies built in, so you've got somebody to hunt with. He's sleeping.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's under the water.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I was gonna say we could bomb him. But you get some friends to hunt with. You get the satisfaction of knowing that via your contribution, there is one less player online who has absolutely no idea what they're doing, which can be very frustrating if you're hunting high-level monsters and somebody joins and they just are standing
a random group.
standing in the corner. They don't really know what to do. They're hiding at camp, or they're the person who's responsible for you failing because they die all 3 times. It can be frustrating. So you get to help prevent that, and then you're bringing more fans into the series, and the more fans of the series, the more Capcom is willing to devote resources and time and attention to the game and things like that. So veterans get what we hope is an improved game experience and potentially friends. And I hope that in and of itself is a fairly large draw, and I think based off the numbers of veteran support that we have so far, that kind of speaks for itself in that it is.
Oh, I saw about like looking at the Discord chat, and I know probably everyone isn't signed up, but there was more than 500 veterans who have been, like gone through the steps to be part of the program.
Yes.
And then,
like as of right now, we have around 4,000 total members on Discord. And as far as people signed up for the program, we're up in the 3,000 area. Now that ratio is like 2 veterans per novice right now, and we're hoping we'll get some more novice support as we spread the word and as the game actually officially launches, or more novices interested in joining, I should say. But on top of that, we always want to have more veterans than novices, because if there's ever an issue, if you ever have a problem for any reason whatsoever, say you just don't agree with them, their teaching style isn't working for you, if there's a deeper issue or anything whatsoever, we're willing to just, like, no questions asked, find you another match. So,
of course,
we would rather have more veterans to make sure that we can get good matches.
Ah, damn it. I knew I was going to have a fade.
Yep. So a mechanic that I haven't taught you about that I probably should have, if your weapon is sheathed and you're sprinting away from a monster, you can do like a desperation dive move, which has like invulnerability frames throughout the entire dive. So it's a really good get out of jail free card if you know a monster's coming to get you and you're low on health. Your weapon does have to be sheathed though, so it's something you need to know is coming. You can't just, it's not a no shit button.
That's what I did want to ask you in terms of how the program works, so when people are at novices and veterans are randomly paired at first, and then they kind of work out details in terms of when we're going to play, how you're going to play, something like that. That's kind of handled at that level between the 2 of them.
Yes. So the way that we're handling matches is by time zone, by language spoken, by country of residence, the weapons you're interested in, and then any special considerations that you may have told us that you needed. Like some people prefer.
Yeah, I saw that in the Google.
Yeah, they might prefer having somebody like in the military like they are, or somebody with kids who has a better understanding of what it's like to have kids at home. So once we do the matches, we're going to make a sweeping announcement to let everyone know, hey, here's the matching document. And we are working on that as we speak. We're going to make a big announcement. We're going to publish that in the Discord server. And then from there, it's up to you to get in contact with your match.
Great.
There are just too many people for us to do it by hand.
And do you expect those numbers you mentioned earlier to kind of grow once the game comes out, and more people get their hands on it?
Absolutely. As more people pick the game up, as more people kind of figure out what they're doing, or players pick it up and they're like, oh shit, I really am lost and could use some help, then we absolutely expect our membership numbers to go up, especially as Capcom support comes in and if they're willing to feature us on their website and things like that.
Yeah, definitely we'll have to keep in touch with you about how Capcom decides to support you guys, because that is fast. That is like really cool.
Yeah, I was really happy to speak with them at PAX South and find out that they're behind the idea. Principal director Sujimoto has even recognized what we're doing
Soon, right?
and that kind of thing.
Are we doing one more?
Would you like to do one more?
I think I'll do one more before.
Okay, let's do that quest. Did you ready up? I didn't pay attention.
I did.
Okay,
I think I did.
let's do that. Let's do that quest and go look at Rathalos.
Because let's just do it.
It would be Capcom, not Konami. Okay, so for this one, you're going to want to change your camp. And you're going to want to choose Camp 17, the Ancient Forest Camp. Are you ready?
I think so.
I'm going to ask you to go and change your Palico equipment as well.
Should I go back or?
Yeah, you'll need to change Palico equipment. You probably want to give it the Feline Forest Arrow weapon, and then both of the Anja armors, so the Anja helm and the Anja body. And then switch to the Flashfly cage.
Is that a spray? Oh yeah, there's. Yeah, got it. Never mind.
Okay. And then one last thing in your equipment for your mantle, I'm going to ask you to change to the Rocksteady mantle. This is a mechanic that we haven't really talked about at all. This is brand new to Monster Hunter World. It's kind of like an extra cloak piece of armor that has its own special feature. The Rocksteady mantle is going to make you immune to roars, and it's going to make it so that when a monster hits you, it deals a little less damage, and it doesn't stagger you. And to put it on, you're going to do the quick wheel and then left on the quick wheel.
Okay.
But don't put it on immediately because it does go down on a timer. So once we get in, go ahead and eat. And then I'm going to go into the tent and grab some flash bombs, and then we can go hunt down the Rathalos.
Great.
I'm hoping that he spawns here, because there's a chance that he doesn't, and then we'll just have to go find the other monster. Dang it. All right, come with me. It's been a while since I did this. I think I remember where to go. All right. Coming?
I'm right behind you. Ooh, this map. This
is the first map we were on, but this is just a different part of it.
Okay. So, what's the difficulty of this hunt that we're on?
This is basically expert level.
Okay, so...
Oh, it looks like Rathalos may not be here. That's unfortunate.
Assuming... Oh, yeah, okay, I've seen videos of this. I would assume that it would be very, very hard. Is this also 20 minutes?
Yes.
I assume that is unlikely that we'll be able to finish this time.
It would be a 50-minute quest normally, and no, I don't think that with two people and one of us being very new, we would have enough. But I am going to show you...
Yeah, I know you're very new, but I can carry
yeah, I appreciate that. I'm actually really glad you're here to help. So I'm going to show you the waterfall.
Okay, yeah. So if you're fighting a monster here, you're able to do that. Yeah. Nice. So is that isn't like an instant kill, right?
No,
it's just,
it does a lot of damage, and it pushes them down to the bottom.
Which I'm guessing also knocks them out for a time.
Yes.
That's a big fall.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that fall.
Yeah, and you can jump off. No, guys, Rathalos isn't here because there's no Rathalos parts. We can't. There's no tracks or anything. And if Rath was here, there would be something to find. So unfortunately, that means Puke Puke spawned this time instead of Rathalos. So instead, we're going to go and try and find Anjanath, who is the monster we're actually supposed to be hunting.
So these monsters kind of transcended games in terms of, they stay the same over time and then added new ones?
Yes. So actually, Rathalos is a monster that has been in Monster Hunter since the very, very beginning. He's kind of like their baby. He's their flagship monster. He's my favorite monster. But he's received a lot of updates and new moves and tricks for the current generation. Whereas, like, Anjanath is brand new. The Great Jaggeris that we just fought several times is brand new. The Baroth that you and I were fighting, the Mud Puppy, he's been in since the 3rd generation.
Okay.
So there's a nice, healthy mix.
I have heard that people are somewhat disappointed with the monster.
Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and abandon. So push start, go over to the quest menu, and then return from quest. I really want to show you Rathalos. Unfortunately, I will have to bring up another lobby, but... Oops, I accidentally went to re-edit my... Hunter. I know that a lot of veteran players are sad that maybe their favorite monster didn't make it in. And, you know, maybe I'm speaking a little bit biased because my favorite monster did make it in, but I'm really excited to see what they've done with new monsters, because some of the older monsters just are, they need to be retired. Their AI is bad, their skeletons are bad, and yes, they would have had to have redesigned them entirely for World, but I think they could have just built a new monster and made it interesting.
Okay.
And then I'll send you the Cold, your vet shouldn't be upset with you for not being their launch weekend, because that means that instead of teaching, they just get to play the game. But, I mean, you guys are welcome to coordinate and figure out the time that works best for you after launch weekend. I'm sending you the code now. My favorite monster is Rathalos. Yeah. Rathian and Rathalos. I'm also a really big fan of Brachydios for any older veterans of the series. I do not want to see Giginox come back. Zinogre would be really cool. Agnactor I'm fine with never seeing again. My chat has now just turned into a monster wish list. Giginox is better than Kezu, but if I had to see neither, that would be great. Once again, Camp 17. Hopefully Wrath is here this time. If not, we won't bother resetting. But I will keep my fingers crossed. Thank you, Paul. Have those flash bombs. Stomach.
Yes!
And then I'm gonna run off to where he should be, which is gonna be towards the northeast exit. You should be able to see me on your mini map.
I do, yeah.
Here's Croc. Oh, that's a big negatory Ghost Rider. Oh well, that's fine. I mean, the bait is up for 24 more hours. You are welcome to hunt all you like on your own after we're done here. And if you ever want to take a look at Rathalos, this is what you do.
How'd you jump off that?
If you walk up to it and push circle,
Oh wow.
and there's no falling damage. We're gonna hunt this Pookie Pookie. So the weapon I'm using now is a gun lance. It's a Pokey Pokey lance with a shotgun built into it. So you can shoot monsters. Oh, he's flying away already. Well, let's track him with the scout flies. So if you want to track him, you need to open your map and then go down to the bottom left and select him. But the gun lance is a weapon that is basically a lance with a shotgun attached. You do your stabbing lance attacks, and then you also have the option to shoot. It's got a few more unique abilities built in, like its Wyvern Fire and Wyvern's Wormstake Cannon, but for the most part, shotgun on a stick is all you need to know.
Okay.
It is one of the least mobile weapons in the game, so a lot of new players kind of shy away from it. Oh, nice.
So right now, say if I did some of the same missions, a single player, it would scale down so that the monster's health would be more manageable for one player.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to do my special move, the Wyvern Fire.
Whoa.
Yep. Oh, sorry, I hit you with that. So yeah, that attack will blast you backwards if I hit you. I apologize.
That's fine. Find the way again.
The best weapon to start with is the weapon that you think looks coolest. Alternatively, there are some more beginner-friendly weapons that have a lower skill floor that somebody might recommend. Those are the Sword and Shield, the Dual Blades, the Hammer, and then to a little bit of a lesser extent, you've got the Switch Axe, the Great Sword even, and maybe one more. I may have just blasted you. Sorry if I did.
No, I think yeah, a little bit. It's fine.
Let's not get tongued. Got him trapped.
Is this still considered an expert hunt?
No, this is more of an intermediate. It's a little bit harder than the Jagras, but not quite as hard as the Baroth.
Yeah, so the impression I was getting.
Nice, you mounted it. So that's going to prevent him from limping away and just flying. He's dead. And because he was not our target monster, we do not complete the quest.
It's what I thought. I hadn't asked yet, but I was like, is this Spooky Pooky what we're supposed to be hunting?
No, we're supposed to be hunting an Anjanath. But because we were coming specifically for Rathalos, I didn't bother too much.
That was still fun though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's what's important.
Something new.
We get to find out if we can find Angie before time expires. But that was a pretty good kill time. We did that in, looks like, just 5 minutes. I'm also using my best weapon, to be fair, though. I am using my gun lance. Which is a little over-tuned for the beta. It's not usually this strong in the base game. But now we get to try and find Anjanath, and unfortunately, I don't know where Angie spawns, because I haven't hunted him or her too much. I'm going to fast travel to the camp in the northwest. Camp 8. You can do that by opening your map and just selecting it. See what we can find. What are my flies going after? No. Don't track Puke Puke anymore. It's dead. Found some footprints. I don't know if they're Anjanath footprints or Jagras footprints, but we'll find out soon. Alright, we've got a trail. Uh-oh. It went cold. Flies, tell me where to go. That's always fun, when they don't know where you're going anymore. You still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here. The flies are leading me somewhere. I'm just following them. I'm not sure if it's.
Oh, here's Anjanath. You can mark me on your map, and your flies will lead you to me.
I'm right behind. I'm right next to you. Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, T-Rex. I don't know if we'll have time to finish this with just 2. Anjanath's got a pretty high health pool, and we wasted a lot of time hunting Pookie Pookie. But no matter what, you can see this monster.
Yeah.
And use that Rocksteady mantle if you want to not be affected by the roars. I don't know why Angie is running. Oh, nice. Thank you. That was the flashfly cage.
Is that an item or that's the interactive?
From your cat.
Okay.
That was the cat item that we chose. Oh, it threw you off. Did not like being mounted. So I'm sure you remember when we were in the training camp, we kind of went over like doing critical damage and things like that. So the Anjanath is a really good monster to just kind of get a feel for, am I doing the most damage I can, where I'm hitting it, is it a good spot? Like the feet aren't a whole lot of damage, but like the face is going to do that bonus damage. And I saw somebody in chat ask about how veterans feel about the new tracking changes. Me personally, I'm a huge fan. I kind of hated having to use paintballs to make sure that, you know, your hunt time wasn't wasted as the monster ran in circles. If you have your shock trap, go ahead and get that ready.
Okay.
And once we get to the next area, we can shock him.
And what are those wings? I mean,
Yeah.
he can't fly. What are those?
He can like glide when he jumps, I think. I'm not 100% sure. He's just taking off. World tour.
Whoa!
But he is vine trapped. Oh, he vine trapped himself. So you want to roll 3 times to get the fire off.
Okay, cool.
And then you probably want to... Never mind. I was going to say heal.
Yeah, I need to. I just have not learned to monitor that more closely.
It's alright. It takes time. Oh, I guess that was behind me. Or it was a grab attack. That's fun. Oh, nice. I'm stuck sharpening. So, the traps that we're using, it's worth mentioning that there's a special class of monster called Elder Dragons that cannot be trapped. The 4th monster in the quests for the beta, Nergigante, is an Elder Dragon, and so you just can't trap him. They're just too powerful. You are on fire and low on health.
I'm okay on health.
I am on fire and low on health.
Just ran away.
Yep. He's gonna go up to his nest, I believe. We have about 5 minutes left, or 6, it looks like.
Really, it's so hard for me to tell how much time is left from that small.
Yeah, it's
From that small
not
meter.
the most intuitive. Interrupted me out of my air attack. It's too bad. Fireball. Fire breath. There you go. Fired Anjanath. Oh, nice. Not. Stop. unfortunately have to sharpen. Oh no. Ah, I missed. I may have sent you flying.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent flash fly cage. That was really good. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but even if you didn't, that was great.
That was not on purpose. Yeah, it actually like knocked me out or something. I was like, wait, what happened? It was not something I meant to do.
I mean, no matter what, it worked.
Oh, there you go again. Is the I noticed like it started becoming dark and having a nighttime
Yes.
version later. Is that special or is that just happen periodically? Like
this way,
in-game timer?
come back.
Isn't that him right over there?
It looks like it's showing that he's up above. The
Damn,
oh,
I think
okay.
I'm on right
The
here.
scout flies were sending me a different way. My bad.
Oh, no worries.
So that is new, the dynamic lighting system. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't know why it sent me up there. Whatever.
Don't worry, I mean, pair with your veteran like me. Do that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you're here to guide me. All right.
And it give me a prompt scatter shot when I was on top of him. What is that? Like, is that?
That's probably some form of slinger ammo.
Okay. Maybe there's something else that it wasn't related to me being mounting on him.
No, it shouldn't be. Oh, right. That's a grab attack. I am pinned. Oh, pinned again. All right. I've suddenly become more of a liability on this hunt.
I already failed it once, so you're good. I think I poisoned him.
If he's drooling purple, he's poisoned.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you about just about like the Monster Hunter community has been like damn it
As
has been
Looks like you failed the quest this
has
time.
been
But we'll try
known
again soon.
pretty widely just being how welcoming it is.
well,
What do you have?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask you about like the role of like encouragement is for new players coming in playing with someone who has thousands of hours invested into the series.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind elaborating a little bit, what do you mean by the role of encouragement?
I mean, just being there when someone does something like when I mounted, if I was playing with someone who didn't, another novice, or I was playing by myself, it may have not been a big deal. But when you're playing with someone who has like all this experience, it's like kind of nice to hear like, oh, you mounted him, good job. Like that's like, oh, it kind of makes me want to, a connection has been lost. Like, oh, that's like a good feeling. Like, is that something that you guys considered?
I think, I mean, in part of our code of conduct, we encourage anybody who's participating in the program to, spread positivity. I mean, anybody who plays any game or loves anything has criticisms about it, but we're trying to get people to love the game we love. So it's not we shouldn't be just sitting here shitting on the things we don't like. So in my experience playing with other veterans, especially when you know somebody is new, if they do the thing that they're supposed to be doing, or like if you're an insect glaive and you mount the monster, it's like awesome, you are getting it. And so I think it's not unique to myself. I think you're going to run into that across pretty much most of the fandom. That being said, of course, there are bad eggs in any community. There are plenty of elitists or jerks or just outright mean people that are playing this game. And while we hope you don't run into them on a regular basis, we would much rather you have more positive encounters than negative. So encouragement is kind of built into the code of conduct. Just spread positivity.
So right on. Yeah, and are you still streaming? Or still...
No, I'm actually going to call it here. I want to go ahead and cut the VOD so that any of the content from specifically this showcase is related to this showcase. I may come back and stream some like Slay the Spire a little bit later, because to tell you the truth, I've just about played the beta out. I've probably put around 80 hours into it in total. So
80 hours into the beta,
across all 3 of the betas, yes.
That's so much.
Yeah, just
yeah. So can I access? I think it was just your volume. I could access it for quotes and whatnot.
Yeah, that's
your voice was captured, right?
Yes, yours as well.
Oh, great! And that's both. Yeah, so that's good to know, because I wasn't sure. I was taking some notes periodically when we had some downtime, but that's good to have.
Yeah, I mean, and if you need to pull any quotes or anything from the VOD, you've got my permission to do so. But let me go ahead and do a sign off for my stream here, and then I will be right back with you, and we can just kind of do some closing details between you and I, if that's all right. Sure. All right, so just hang tight. All right, stream. I want to thank each and every one of you who came out here tonight. I want to thank all of you who went to our website or signed up for the program, veterans, novices, all across the board. Anybody who chilled, thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the follows. I really appreciate the support. We will be doing this more and more once the game is launched. I'll try and do a few more showcase streams. But for now, if anybody is looking at this game and is curious about it and you aren't 100% sure, then the community you see on screen right now, Adopt a Hunter, you can find us at adoptahunter.org, is a community built and focused on offering you a guiding light or a guiding hand through Monster Hunter. We are a community of veterans, novices, and in-betweens who exist to make sure that your experience with Monster Hunter is the best it can be. So please come check us out. The rest of you and those who are already a part of the community, everybody have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time. Have a good night, guys. Actually, you know what? Is anybody streaming that I want to host? Let's see. Do I know anybody? Do people stream anymore? Yeah, go watch my friend Kate. She will be playing Monster Hunter when it's out as well. So go give her a watch, give her a follow, give her some love. You guys all have a great night.